I don't see how folks can continue to be bearish. By doing things in this manner, we are going to actually pump and never stop. This is not a practice set. In light of the fact that there is now a 97% possibility that the Federal Reserve will reduce interest rates by 25 basis points at their next meeting, this is clearly a joke. To put it simply, it is not possible to reduce the interest rate by another 50 basis points, but that is irrelevant to you folks. What is important is that they continue to cut. There is a delay, which therefore has an effect on the markets. Is that correct? Now, that is something that will take some time, guys, but once more, as long as they continue to reduce, the markets will continue to pump those guys. Don't you think that's obvious? I am really bullish on Bitcoin right now, regardless of what happens, even if we see a dump. It is really easy, and for the time being, I am quite bullish on Bitcoin. In my opinion, it is irrelevant if the market is bullish in the short term, medium term, or extremely bullish. Then even they are looking at this only in $800 billion. According to the usual charge bank, a Bitcoin drop by less than $60,000 should be bought into. Exactly. As a result, these individuals are making purchases at a rate that has never been seen before, and it appears that the underlying cause of this is now. What causes the increasing trend of the parabolic rally? Guys, we are in need of inflows. We require a resurgence in the rate of inflows, as well as a huge amount of inflows, right? Particularly in light of the fact that ETFs are already being purchased, which is a possibility given that big wire firms are going live with Bitcoin ETFs. Which I heard was a possibility in the fourth quarter. Currently, it seems like this is something to look at in this Bitcoin drop. A few days ago, somebody acquired Bitcoin for $200 million. At the same time, Michael Dell sold equities worth $1.2 billion, which is a hint that he would buy some Bitcoin. It would seem that if we see all of these people purchasing Bitcoin, then that is exactly what we require, right? Once more, Bitcoin needs to increase in order to earn all points to guys. Consequently, this is the icing on the cake, despite the fact that it is really lovely. A brand new $10 trillion. Is it correct that BlackRock will be presenting Bitcoin at a conference in Brazil? This is the new marketing team, so please come here. Take a look at this. Therefore, you should question yourself why BlackRock continues to promote and, hurl advertisements of Bitcoin out there. Indeed, through the lens of a worldwide alternative to the monetary system, they want everyone to be involved in Bitcoin. In the long run, I wouldn't really put too much thinking into this, but in the short to medium term, I would give it some consideration nevertheless. It is undeniable that it will go higher. There has been a dramatic decrease in the purchasing power of the NAX dollar throughout the course of time. Alright, it appears that this is a slide. Doesn't this look like a Bitcoin PowerPoint or a BlackRock slide, guys? Take note of this. BlackRock's iShares is this. The Digital Assets Conference 2024 events that will take place on October 3rd, 2024 will be the only places where this material will be utilized. Do you agree? When it comes to those that are wealthy, this is what they are displaying. In addition, they are demonstrating that the purchasing power of the United States of America has been decreasing at a rate that is exponentially decreasing. On the other hand, if you take a glance at the chart of Bitcoin, you will notice that it has been that men. Do you agree? Only to the right and up in the air. The qualities that Bitcoin possesses are comparable to those of other different global monetary alternatives. What are some of the other monetary alternatives that Bitcoin is comparable to? A comparison of gold and Bitcoin, gentlemen. And with Bitcoin, the supply is predetermined, which is just an advantage. Despite the fact that volatility is significant, it is likely that it will at some time in the future become less and less. Track record with a short amount of time. Once more, it is a problem, gentlemen. Take note of that. In the case of gold versus Bitcoin, long versus short. Do you not see it? What does it mean that the volatility is high, guys? What does that mean? I have no doubt that Bitcoin will see a collapse at some point in the future, right? There is no doubt in my mind that Bitcoin will eventually fail, but I have a feeling that this will not happen until 2026. Are you saying that we are going to take advantage of this move higher, men? Or at the very least, I am going to take advantage of it. The fact that this insane run is going higher is wonderful because it indicates that a lot of people will make gains, right? And in general, if the track record was a lot longer, Bitcoin would turn out to be a winner when compared to gold, right? However, for the time being, we should allow them to continue pushing Bitcoin, guys, since they are going to pump our bags. Lovely in every way. Is it true that McDonald's is willing to accept Bitcoin? In other words, it will soon be everywhere. They are going to activate this in each and every country, men. As a result, let's look into this. So are you able to actually purchase? Bitcoin is accepted at McDonald's. Doesn't this constitute insanity? The problem is that I'm not attempting to criticize Bitcoin in any way, shape, or form. I mean, this is a legitimate use case, guys. Honestly, I am a huge fan of Bitcoin. Nevertheless, I'm not aiming to make a purchase for $60-something thousand. Is that correct? I am aware that these institutions will, and I am aware that they are pumper bags nonetheless. I will not go through with it. I will wait till 1 to 3,000 Bitcoin. The problem that they are facing is determining how long they will have to wait for the transaction to be performed in a professional manner. At this point, it is obvious that it is not capable of handling it on a large scale, but we need people, and we need people to become delusional. Guys, that is the thing that we need everyone to participate in. The intention is to defy till one day in order to leap ship and join Bitcoin from track by. Unfortunately, this is not the case nonetheless. It is rumored that iPhone users can now send Bitcoin directly from the lock screen. Is this true? It's hard for me to say whether or not this is entirely accurate. This is yet another nice post from RFK Jr., and if that is indeed the case, then that is a very beautiful thing. There is no better currency than Bitcoin. Following this, we are going to discuss the price action of Bitcoin, so stay tuned for that. So when exactly is Bitcoin going to take action on this matter, guys? Last but not least, when will you finally accomplish that, because we are currently around this range? In order to enter escape velocity, we need to get away from this. Let's check the sell first, but I believe that the majority of Bitcoin users are aware that I was present, that I have a strong dedication to the cryptocurrency, and that I am aware of the connections that exist between Bitcoin and freedom, personal freedom, self-sovereignty, and property rights. It is not about amassing a large fortune for oneself, and whoever dies with the most Bitcoins wins. All that matters is that this is the ideal form of cash. In addition to being an off-road for inflation, it is a sophisticated and artistic approach to solving all of our national problems, including the national debt. The assault on liberties, the emergence of totalitarian systems, and the corruption of the government are all factors that have an impact on our balance of trade. Yes, this is the conclusion of everything. Because of the system's transparency and the fact that it cannot be manipulated, it is going to be decentralized for all time. This is likely to be the case because the worst government corruption is all over the place. It is a stunning work of art, and it ought to be a characteristic of the United States of America. But the majority of Bitcoin, in my opinion, the fact that they are all bullish is a wonderful beginning to the conversation. What is important to me is that the value of Bitcoin continues to rise. In that case, all I need is some Bitcoin to pump so that the entire season can be launched, and then I'll be out. As for the modders mentioned above, it is possible that this could occur here very soon, maybe in the fourth quarter of this quarter. As a side note, every single one of the 5 out of the last 6 months began with a gloomy outlook for the cryptocurrency markets, and each and every time we reached a bottom. It is expected that the bottom will be reached by the boys between now and October 6th during the first week of the month, which would then lead to recovery. I find this pattern to be quite peculiar. Always keep in mind that if you are able to recognize patterns, you have succeeded. When it comes to this reality, everything revolves on patterns, guys. As a result, he discovered something peculiar. At the beginning of each month, gentlemen, it is typically the date that Bitcoin is at its lowest point. This includes the 1st of May, the 5th of July, the 5th of August, the 6th of September, and right now. It's clinically bearish, contrary to what some people may believe, but have a look at what transpired following that. And do you know what makes it so fascinating? It consisted entirely of pumps. To add insult to injury, it was within this range. Why would someone do that? Given that this was within their capabilities, it would be the beginning of the parabola, guys, if we were able to break out of this range. Because we are in a range, it reverted back to its previous state after each time it pumped. Come on, folks, we can't get up here and then come back down. We have no choice except to abandon it. At the very least, it has been 7 to 8 months, a ridiculously high amount of time that has been spent bringing together guys. There is a connection between this and the stock market, because if the stock market is able to pump here soon, then it seems reasonable to assume that Bitcoin would do the same. He adds that we may honestly head towards low $60,000 to low $6,000. And that would indicate that the aim for Bitcoin is now between $115,000 and $120,000. We have already reached the bottom of my projection from November 2022, when the SP 500 was at $5,770. The price of Bitcoin is going to skyrocket during the final quarter of the year, but there is a limit to its growth. Take a look at that. I really hope that this is the case, guys, and that this chart exposed it reveals everything, which is why this is the result of Plan B. The majority of the time, which is during these moments, Bitcoin is 90% uninteresting. A group of yellow boxes. Is it alright if all of the profit in Bitcoin is made in only 10% of the time at the red arrows? Additionally, after having a coincidence, it is always done. I don't believe that we are. So basically, we are consolidating the pump in this yellow box. We are consolidating additional pumps, and we are consolidating them once again. It is a fact that history has demonstrated that it is assured, men.